Hello, hello, everyone. Welcome back. Welcome back. We are going to go on and jump in and get started because we have a great discussion today, and I'm so excited. So let's go on and get started. All right. Hello, hello again. I am Erica Lynette, founder and CEO of Divignment, which stands for Divine Alignment. And I am so excited to be back again for week 3, episode 3, which is about expectancy in the making. I am the alignment activator. That's what I call myself. And I'm just so excited to have this discussion today. It's really important and just want to make sure that we have a healthy mindset and that we're positioning ourselves to lead a life of expectancy. And so, when we think about expectancy, it's really an output of the mindset, of our mindset, because in order to live with expectancy, you have to have a healthy mindset. And I'm just going to keep it real. This message today is so much for me. It's just as much for me as it is for you. This is something that I constantly struggle with. And it's so funny because people are always saying, Erica, you look so confident. You look so poised and this and that. And they have no idea what's going on in my head because I truly struggle with mindset so much and really just not fully trusting sometimes, what God has put in place for me to do. And so, when planning out the topic for this week, mindset and expectancy just kept surfacing. And so I was like, okay, this is definitely what we have to talk about today. And I heard 2 messages about it. So I knew this is what we were going to focus on. And so, when we think about it, the battlefield of the mind is truly real. That's a real thing. It's something that we are constantly faced with each and every day. And, with me, I'll say, God has brought me through so much. And I'm sure he's done the same for you. And it's almost like, how can we not live with expectancy when we see what he's already brought us through? I've shared my story about, what led to me developing this platform in the first place. And one thing I did not share was that, after I went through the divorce and we were formally divorced, that's when COVID hit. COVID hit literally 2 weeks after the divorce was finalized. And so, I had mentioned that I had lost my job. Well, I had a pretty good severance package. It got me through those months. Well, there's a point where the severance package ends. And that's what was happening right as COVID was beginning. So I had to file for unemployment for a long period of time. I had to, take advantage of the forbearance stuff from my home. I mean, it was real. And I'm still, raising 2 children at the time. And so, to really see where God has brought me from that point to now, and to even, sometimes struggle with expectancy. Sometimes I'm like, Erica, you need to just stop it. Like, you need to stop playing. And so when we think about expectancy and what that is all about, it's really about having an unwavering confidence that God is going to truly do what he said. First and foremost, that he's truly God, that God is who he is, the great I am, the one who can, the creator of the world, the one who can do anything, accomplish the impossible. To have that foundational belief, and really and truly trust that. And then to know that whatever he assigns us to do, he's going to equip us to do. And so, that's something that I struggle with because, really and truly, when I struggle with it, it's about trying to do it in my own strength. When I take my eyes off of him and I try to do it in my own strength, that's when the friction happens, and that's when the trust starts declining and all of that stuff. And so we have to realize that when it comes to expectancy and walking in expectancy, we have to remember that God built us for this moment. He built us for this exact time, this exact period of time. He designed us to do extraordinary things. He designed you specifically to do the assignment that he has for your life. and every challenge and experience, they're built to help to build us and to mold us into who we're supposed to be and the impact that we're supposed to have on this world. And so, walking in expectancy is all about walking with boldness, with confidence, walking with authority, walking even with excitement and joy. We should have some sort of excitement about what God is going to accomplish, especially again, as we look back at what he's already done. We should really be excited about what he's going to do, because we know it's going to be extraordinary. If he got us through some of the stuff that we've been through, and we don't even look like it half the time, I mean, we should just be super excited about what he's going to do in our lives. And so I wanted to take a look at tonight, when we think about expectancy, what is God's role and then what's our role? God's role is to equip us, to provide us with the resources, to give us the direction, and ultimately to demonstrate his power through us. And then when we look at our role is first and foremost to trust and obey him. That's where it starts. It starts with trusting and obeying him. And that means, stepping out on faith and doing what he says, even when we don't have all the information. And that's definitely something I struggle with, because I want all the details all the time. But we have to, that's not walking in faith if we have all the answers, right? So we have to be in a position to where we're submitting to the process and truly just relying on him wholeheartedly to give us the direction. When we take one step, he's going to open up another door. When we take another step, he might have us pivot. When we take another step, we might have to go back in the other direction. But either way, we're still getting closer each day and each moment to the assignment that he's already laid out for us. And so I think I may have shared before some of the sayings from one of my favorite pastors, Dr. Charles Stanley, the late Dr. Charles Stanley. And I wanted to share two things that he had mentioned in some previous sermons that really just tie into the discussion tonight. One of them is, when God gives you an assignment, he assumes full responsibility in equipping you and providing all of the resources to accomplish that goal. Isn't that beautiful? That when God gives you an assignment, he assumes full responsibility. That means I don't have to take it on myself. All I have to do is carry it out. And that he's going to equip us and provide us with all of the resources that we need. So that means, sometimes when I'm thinking about, okay, with this platform, I don't know, I don't have this particular contact. I don't know who to contact, but it's amazing how God just keeps opening doors and revealing more and more. And a lot of times people are even coming to me asking how they can help. And so, we just have to trust the process and trust God to do what he's going to do, what he's able to do. The second thing Dr. Stanley shared in another message was, when you disobey God or leave him out, you cheat and deprive him of the privilege of demonstrating his awesome power in your life. And that really, I had to sit in that for a second, because I'm like, I'm cheating God of the privilege of demonstrating his power in my life. I mean, he considers it a privilege. I mean, that's amazing, because, when we're operating from a state of fear, of procrastination, of doubt, and we're choosing fear over faith, we're depriving God of that opportunity. We're delaying the process. He already has the assignment, and it's going to get done one way or another, but it's something that he wants to do through us. And when we don't move forward in faith, we're depriving him of that privilege. And I thought that was just so deep, so deep. And that's something that I don't want to do. I want him to manifest amazing things in my life. I want him to do the same for you. And so, how do we get there to a place of expectancy? First and foremost, we have to look at what we're feeding ourselves daily. So, what are we watching? What are we listening to? What kind of conversations are we having? What are we looking at when we're scrolling through social media? All of those things are feeding our mind, and it seems subtle at times, but all of those things are feeding our mind, and ultimately it affect, if we're going to operate in expectancy or not. And so we have to be selective about what we give our attention to, because everything impacts us, every single thing. Then secondly, we have to choose daily to trust God and his plan. And so that comes through, building that relationship, meditation, prayer, spending time reading the Bible, listening to the audio Bible, just really just continuing to feed ourselves with his word, and really affirming what he's already said is going to happen, and what he's already said is possible through him, right? And so there are two verses I wanted to share with you as far as how we can cultivate a lifestyle of expectancy. The first one is Luke chapter 1, verse 37, and this is the Amplified version. It says, "For with God, nothing is or ever shall be impossible." And that's the thing I loved about that particular version. Nothing is, meaning current situation now, or ever shall be, future, impossible. Isn't that amazing? And so there's a young lady I follow on social media. She's a pastor. Her name is Nona Jones. Excuse me, Nona Jones. And she broke it down earlier today. Well, I should say earlier today. She's on the Bible app. And she is the featured speaker for today. And she highlights this verse. And I love one thing that she said. She said, "This means that when God says it, it's done." So when he already gives you a vision and tells you your assignment, in his mind, it's already done. It's up to us to follow through on what he's already given us. And so we have to rely on his direction. But in his mind, it's already viewed as done. And that's so beautiful because he's already chosen you. He's already chosen me to do amazing things. We just have to walk it out. And so the second verse is Luke chapter 1, also in chapter 1, verse 45. And it says, "Blessed is she who believed, for there will be a fulfillment of those things which were told to her from the Lord." And that was so beautiful. That was talking about Elizabeth and Mary, when Mary was pregnant with Jesus. But I love that part where it says, there will be a fulfillment. Not there might be, there possibly can be, there could be. God said there will be a fulfillment of those things that were told to her from the Lord. It's the same thing with us. When he's given us a vision or an assignment and told us that this is what he wants us to do, he's going to fulfill it. And that's, it's just so exciting and reassuring to know that we don't have to worry about that. We don't have to carry that burden because it's already something that he's taken on himself. And so ultimately, what I want to, as we kind of wrap this discussion up, what I want to remind us of, and I'm reminding myself of this too, is that the choice is yours, the choice is mine. We have to choose if we're going to walk, believe, operate in our own strength, in our own limitations, in our own feelings, or if we're going to truly trust and expect God to be God and do the miraculous, the impossible, do the there was no way that could have happened but God type of stuff in our lives. And so, he never intended us to live out this life in our own strength. That's one thing I want to make sure that we understand. We are not supposed to be living out this life in our own strength. We can't, because we're weak. I mean, there's no way we can do it. And that he truly delights and desires to do amazing and extraordinary things through you and through me as well. And so, the reason that he does that is because it leads us to trust him more. It strengthens our relationship with him more. It allows us to experience his goodness. And then ultimately, it helps us to plant seeds and share what we've been through, how he's been so good to us with other people. Those are just planting seeds. We're not supposed to convert anybody. That's not our role. Our role is just to share the good news and share what he's done for us, to encourage somebody, let someone know, look, this is what he did for me. This is what's possible for you too. I mean, if he's done this for me, he can definitely do the same and even more in your life. And so, friend, I would just encourage you and challenge you, as I challenge my own self, to truly try God, to truly trust him, to expect him to do extraordinary things in your life. As I'm going to start more, also expecting him to do more in my life as well, to spend time with him daily, to ask him to help you, as I'm doing the same, ask him to help you to see things as he sees them, not the limited way that we see them. We have a very limited view of what's possible. And we can hear something that can discourage us and throw us completely off track. We have to ask him to help us to see things as he would see them. And that's where the shift changes. That's where the impossible starts to become possible. And so, I always remind you, when we talk about in the making, expectancy in the making is definitely possible for you. We just have to activate it. and he's ready. He's always ready to help us in that area. So I want to thank you again for joining me this evening, taking time out to join me. I'm so excited about this series. And I would just encourage you to follow our Facebook page, Divignment, and follow us on social. Thank you so much for tuning in. Continue to be well, and we'll see you again next week. Take care.